Faye, why the heck has this happened? You've really gone and messed up Mom's flower bed now. What? I was only asking you to go out and take care of all the weeds in her flower bed, okay? But tell me, why the heck did you start to yank out all of her very precious flowers from out of there? They were all going to bloom their very best this year, and you ruined all of them. My mom has been the one putting her back into making sure all those flowers would be perfect. Wait a second. Didn't you tell me to go out and pull all the weeds in her flower bed? That's why I went ahead and pulled everything you said to be pulled. Huh? Are you going to blame your failures on your own sister-in-law now? Well, this was my first time ever being asked by you to help you with the garden. So you can't get upset with me for not knowing what is what. And up until today, you had been asking me over and over again, day after day, to help you with your mom's flower bed. So this is all a little bit strange that you're doubling back on what you told me to do before. To be honest, I thought the garden was looking perfectly fine from what you'd done to it, so I was a bit confused as to why you wanted me to pull more plants from it. But I wasn't going to question you because I assumed you knew what you were doing. Well, I never asked you to pull all her flowers, too. You don't even have proof of me saying that to you, so stop trying to blame me. What? Do you have proof of me saying something like that to you before? Did you have a video or something taken of the whole situation that you can use as evidence of what you're claiming? Even a recording of me telling you to pull all those plants? You have nothing, yet you're going to sit there blaming me over what you screwed up? You're the only one that seems to want to blame me for only following through with what you asked me. Now, this isn't even the first time you've started to claim I'm the liar in things. Faye, you are such a useless frickin' woman, aren't you? That kombucha Mom had been spending years making into the perfect drink, you threw out. And just last month, you threw away some of Mom's favorite clothing and shoes, right? And that was all done because you asked me to do so. You told me that the kombucha was way too old and that it had mold growing all inside it, and that's why you wanted it gone. And when it came to the clothing and shoes, you said you wanted to declutter her closet, and those were the things you wanted me to toss. And do you have evidence of me telling you to do all those things? You did all of that without me asking you, didn't you? Are you kidding me? You are totally screwed now, Faye. You're supposed to be a good wife to my brother and his family, but all you do is show your hate for our mom. You should have been getting along really well with my mom by now, but instead you totally hate her. I bet that after all this, she's going to tear you a new one. What? And not only will my mom be on you about all that's happened, but so will my brother. I mean, you've been hating on your own mother-in-law and then blaming your sister-in-law for all the terrible things you've done. He's going to find out just how toxic of a wife you are and will probably ask to divorce you. You'd better get started on getting your bags together and then get ready for him to kick you out of the house. Faye, I'd like to talk with you about what happened to the flower bed. Do you have time to talk with me? I am so sorry about what happened today. No matter how it happened, I was the one that pulled all those flowers out. I'll pay for you to get all brand new flowers the next time you go out. You don't have to worry about any of that, all right? We both know that this is all Monica's fault, right? I already know all the details, so you don't have to pay for me to get anything new. What? Monica asked for you to go out and take care of all the plants in that flower bed, right? And she specifically asked for you to clean out the flower bed with my most important flowers, right? Well, listen, Faye. I heard all that conversation through my window. You were around there? I heard that you'd gone out with some of your friends for the day. When I was about to leave the house, my friends told me that they'd be a little late, so I didn't have to go just yet. That's why, at the time, I was still in the house waiting on them to get back with me. And while waiting, I was in the room playing with the cats. Is that right? That's why I was able to hear your guys' conversation through the window. I even heard her saying very rude things to you as well, so don't worry, I'm not upset with you at all. But it is a fact that your most important flowers are all gone now. I'm so sorry about that. It's all fine. It's really all fine. I actually wanted for that flower bed to be cleaned out so that I could plant some new ones. So that's why, when I overheard what she'd asked of you, I didn't come out and stop you. If anything, you helped me out a ton by doing that. Next time, allow me to take you out to eat as a thank you. No, you don't have to. Oh, calm down now. I'd really love to take you out. And I mean to do it as an apology as well. To think that my precious daughter-in-law is being picked on that badly by my daughter? She must be so jealous of you being around her brother so much now that she thinks she can get away with what she's done. I'm really sorry for everything Monica's been doing to you. Has Monica always acted like this? I heard that she's always been really close to her brother for the longest time now, but I didn't think she'd be this bad. The two of them are a bit distant in age, and that might be why she loves him so much. She's even at the age now where she's saying the only men she wants in her life have to be like her brother. She wants them to be like her brother? I was really hoping when she got to this age she'd find someone who'd take her eyes off her own brother, but that time has still not come. I think from now on you should stop coming over to our house to be around her and I. Go ahead and stay back at your place and take some time to enjoy not having her around you. I'd really like to warn her to stop acting like such a toxic mess, but I'm not sure that would help the situation at this moment. Thank you so much for thinking about me, Gina. So while you're away from my house for a while, let's go out once or twice a week for coffee or something. Actually, I've really had an itch to go out to some fancier cafes in town. But at most of those places, all the people that go are really young, and I feel a little self-conscious about someone my age going in there. If I have someone young like you with me, then I'll be a bit more confident. If that's what you want to do, then let's go. I actually really love going to cafes myself. Oh, is that so? Then let's go out the next time you have some time and find a fancy cafe. And as a sorry for my daughter's actions, I'll be the one treating you. Hey, Faye, you can't just run away from me, you freak. Huh? Recently, you haven't been coming over to this house at all, have you? I have a lot of things that I want to ask you to come and do, yet you always have had a reason to say no to me. Well, you asking me to come over and help you out is just you wanting to do more awful things to me, right? I'm not going to allow you to do that stuff to me anymore. Stop messing around. You should just shut the hell up and let me pick on you like a good sister-in-law. After all, you got married to my most favorite man in the world, so you deserve to live with a little bit of harm caused to you. Huh? Yet instead of being picked on all the time, you've been going out with my mom for tea and coffee, right? All while you keep telling me you're too busy to come help me. I'm tired of you leaving me out of everything like that, you idiot. And your mom is the one that told me that when we go out for coffee, just the two of us is fine. If you happen to have any complaints about that, then go to your mom about it. Crap! What the hell has all of my work been for? I have worked so hard to get you and my mom to hate each other, and yet here you both are going out with one another still. And I've heard this from her as well. You and my brother are still proceeding with the plans to have that wedding? It pisses me off that you and my mom are getting along so well. Well, it just so happens that her and I think a lot alike. She's even been willing to help me with things like decorations for the wedding and what kind of dress I should wear. She really seems to like all the things I do, and that's why I've kind of let her run wild with the preparations for the wedding. That's about half of what we talk about now when we get together. No matter how close you become to my mom, I am not going to allow it. And you having a wedding with my brother is definitely not happening. Are you saying that you're against your brother and I having that wedding? Of course I am. Even now, I hate the fact that he even decided to marry you in the first place. But now you both want to have a wedding? I do not want my brother being loved by everyone in front of me. You have to understand how much this all hurts me, right? So hurry up and cancel your plans for that whole disgusting event. Really? If you don't cancel that wedding, I'll do everything in my power to stop it myself. And just because you have my mom's love now doesn't mean you can use her as a way of stopping me either. See what happens? That wedding dress you had all ready for tomorrow is now nothing more than dangling scraps of fabric. I tore it all up into little pieces and threw it in the trash. Now you have no choice but to cancel the wedding tomorrow. What? What are you talking about? What did you just say to me, Monica? I went into your room and took that dress of yours and destroyed it. I heard my brother talking with you on the phone a little while back, and that's where I learned about where you were keeping your dress for the wedding. So all I had to do was get that key to your place from my brother and make my way inside to ruin that dress. I made sure to do it while you were out of the house, and bam! That means you just committed breaking and entering. And the fact that you waited for me to be out of the house? Have you been waiting in front of my place all day long? I have. That's why I woke up this morning around 4 a.m. and then waited outside all day. And when I saw you come running out of there and locking your door behind you, I sprung into action. It's all said and done now, though, as your dress is completely ruined. This is all... I can't even comprehend things you're saying anymore. I didn't think things would get this bad. Huh? The reason all this got so bad was because of you, Faye. You deserve every bit of it, and I hope you know that. I told you way before to cancel the wedding you wanted to have with my brother, right? But you totally ignored what I'd asked and continued to work on the plans for your wedding. That's why all of this is happening to you now, you freaking idiot. And so that's why your stupid-looking dress is all torn up in the trash now. Now you have no other choice but to cancel that wedding. That dress was your mom's. Huh? I had that dress all put together for her as a surprise. Hearing that you've gone and tore it all up and thrown it out, what am I going to do? Wait a second. Hold on. What do you mean that was my mom's dress? That was your wedding dress in there, right? And that's where you're wrong, Monica. That dress that was in my place was the dress we put together for your mom to wear tomorrow. She's been married for 40 years now, and tomorrow was going to be your brother and my way of celebrating that with her. What? A way of celebrating her? When I was having coffee with her one time, she told me all about it. She told me that she's been married for almost 40 years now and never actually had a wedding. Your mom happened to have your brother just after getting married, and so your parents never had the time to have a wedding after their marriage. I've heard about something like that from her. But how does that have anything to do with your wedding also being about celebrating her marriage? Well, she had been working with us to plan it all out, right? And while doing so, she seemed to want to wear a wedding dress herself since she never had the chance to. We heard that she wanted to have some pictures taken with your dad during our wedding to sort of have that feel of being at her own wedding. So when we heard all of that, your brother and I wanted to make the day special for her. And after talking with your brother about it for a bit, we decided we'd have a surprise ready for her. And this year is her 40th anniversary to your dad, right? What? Your mom was so happy to hear that we had things planned out for her and your dad. But she let us know that she was now too old for anything fancy, so she just wanted us to prepare a cheap dress for her. However, we wanted her to feel special about her day, and that's why we went through all these lengths to get her an amazing and expensive dress. Actually, I happen to be really good at working with clothing, so that dress was in part made by me. I had finally finished all the improvements I wanted to make on it and planned to surprise her with it tomorrow. But now you've told me you've ruined that whole dress and tossed it. No. I didn't know anything about that. About you and planning on making the wedding about Mom and Dad as well. I didn't know that. I didn't even know you knew how to sew. That's not going to make for a good enough excuse now. First, you need to apologize to me. Not only did you break into my house, but you ruined the dress I worked so hard on improving. So stop it with any excuses and apologize. Shut up! It's your fault for making me think that was your dress. Huh? Now you listen here. If you had planned on making your wedding about my mom and dad as well to celebrate their marriage, then you tell me about that as well. Something like that should be handled by all my parents' children. Yet you both took it upon yourselves to do all of that for them and never telling me a thing. It's because you do such terrible things like that that the dress was ruined. And I told Faye not to tell you a dang thing, Monica. I didn't even want you to be a part of this, so quit your whining and apologize. Is that you, Mom? I cannot believe you're my kid. It's the day before their wedding and you've gone and committed a crime? And you expected them to come tell you about all of this? If they had, your only reaction would be telling them to leave me alone and cancel their wedding. That's why I asked your brother and Faye not to tell you anything, because you would have ruined it for all of us, like you've done just now. I wanted that to be a surprise from the newlyweds on their day of celebration. Wait a minute, Mom. Why are you, of all people, using Faye's phone to talk to me? Because I'm with her right now getting coffee. She asked me to come out with her so that we could talk about the wedding one last time before it happens. Her husband is at work all day today, so she wanted to run through all the plans with me instead. So we talked about all that for a bit and have since then been relaxing and drinking coffee together. You guys are together today as well? We were so happy to try this new cafe and you've come and ruined it all for us. And hearing that you went and ruined that whole dress Faye worked so hard on as a surprise for me, how are you going to take responsibility for this one, Monica? You can ask me that all you want, but I don't care. I just happened to make a small mistake is all. And you said you were too old for expensive dresses, right? That's right. Hence why we bought one worth around $5 online. But Faye has been working so hard on that dress, making it look as though it's worth thousands. I've been looking forward for so long now to see how amazing the dress would look when she was done with it. $5? I can pay you that all right now. So stop getting so upset with me, Mom. Just have Faye get another dress for you and work on sewing it up all over again. Have her get another dress for me and do it all again? You have no idea what you're talking about, do you? Do you not have an ounce of knowledge in your head about how frickin' difficult it is to sew up a dress to make it look as though it's worth thousands of dollars? I will not allow my own daughter to say such thoughtless and rude things like that again. Faye worked so hard on that dress to make sure it'd be ready in time for me. And still look leagues better than when we bought it. There is not another woman in this world as nice as her who'd be willing to do such a hard task. And here you are hurting that perfect woman. I want you to know that I'll never forgive you for what you did today, you brain-dead child. Brain-dead child? I've already talked to you about this before. I understand that you really like your brother a lot, but that you need to quit it with being so jealous. As his little sister, the best way to show how much you love your brother is to celebrate his marriage to his wife. I told you about that before, right? And you replied by saying you were shocked, but would be willing to celebrate with the rest of us. Well, what the hell was all this about then? You lied to me about being a good little sister and hurt your brother's wife's feelings. We don't need liars like you who find joy in ruining family events in our family. I don't even want to see your face anymore, so don't even bother coming back home ever again. You don't want me coming back home? Wait, Mom! You should be happy to see that your cute little daughter is so jealous of your son. I do think I messed up by making a mistake and ruining your wedding dress for tomorrow, but come on, Mom, I'm still your cute baby girl. You can't kick me out of the house for something as simple as this. Something as simple as this? Is that what you've just said to me? Well, what about you having Faye pull all my flowers out of that flower bed? And what about you asking her to throw away my kombucha? And what about all my clothes and shoes you had her throw out? Listen here, you. I know about everything you've had Faye do, and about how you blamed everything on her for it. That's all a part of why I want you gone, and I'm going to make sure you never come back to me. Why do you know about all of that? This must mean that Faye went and told you, didn't she? That witch needs to learn her place as my brother's wife. She has no right trying to become good friends with you, Mom. Enough! Mom, everything she told you about is all a lie to get you to try and be upset with me. She doesn't even have evidence of me asking her to do all of those things for me, right? That witch just hates you and wants to try and throw me under the bus for it all. I have evidence. She just didn't want to say anything to you about it. I've had a camera up in both the living room and out back by the garden. What? Cameras? Recently, things like that have really taken off on YouTube, where people record their everyday lives and will upload them for some views. So I did just that and put cameras up all over the house. And not just cameras, but microphones too, so that I can also catch good audio. You were able to catch everything on those? I was. Every single word and action. All of the actions you took against your sister-in-law, Monica. This has to be a joke. The dress that Faye is planning to wear for her wedding is a simple rental. So it was never going to be at her house before the wedding, and she'll have that wedding tomorrow. But you are not allowed to come to that wedding, and we'll make sure security knows that. You can spend the whole day cleaning up all your things at the house and leaving before we get home. It's all your fault, and now I'm getting kicked out of the house because of you. And I won't even be able to come to the wedding today to see my brother in his fancy tuxedo. Why did you do this to me? I don't know. Maybe you deserve to have all this happen to you? What? What is that attitude? You have no right talking to your sister-in-law like that. Well, starting today, I am going to talk to you like this because that's how people have to talk to children that act out. I wanted to become good friends with you since you're my sister-in-law, but I can see that you're not old enough yet to understand that. So starting today, I'm going to react to you the way you've been acting towards me in order to give you a taste of your own medicine. Just because you got to have your wedding today, it doesn't mean you can start acting all tough. I am not going to let you get away with this. So you'd better be prepared for what comes next.
Oh, so scary. Well then, I guess you'll never be able to see me or Faye ever again. You will never get to see your brother that you love so much ever again. So good luck dealing with that one.
What?
I heard all about you from Mom. You have been trying so hard to do things behind my back to make you seem like a little angel, and my wife like a demon. They never talked to me about any of it, because she thought you were just going through a phase.
Is this really you, Ben?
I'm really happy to see that you love me so much as your brother, but I didn't think that you being so close would cause you to become so toxically jealous of Faye. Therefore, to make sure you never come near her again, you won't be seeing the two of us ever again. We are both going to put a lot of distance between ourselves and you.
Wait a minute, Ben. There's no reason for even you to want to run away from me.
Oh, come on now, Monica. I can't deal with your crap anymore. You really think I'm going to let you continue to pick on my beautiful wife like that? For the rest of time? I think this is the perfect time for us to go our separate ways. So thank you for being such a witch.
I don't want you leaving me. I don't want to lose my only brother.
Then get your butt over here and apologize to Faye. I want you on your hands and knees apologizing for every single thing you did to her. Can you do that for me?
What?
Thank you so much for being a close and cute little sister to me. But how things are with you now, you're not cute anymore, and you shouldn't be acting like such a baby. It's actually creepy as hell. And the fact that you still get so jealous that you begin to harm others over me, it's wrong. So very wrong for someone your age.
What do you mean wrong? I have loved you ever since I first laid my eyes on you, Ben. And now you're married to someone that isn't me. What's so bad about me being jealous of her having you more than I can have you?
I'm starting to agree with Mom and Faye. You need to find yourself a hobby or something. Then, you'll probably forget about me, and maybe even find yourself a man of your own.
I can't do that. I've never wanted any hobbies, and that's why I don't have any friends right now.
Then I guess your only option is to stay a lonely person forever, and die that way. You're never going to be cared for by Mom and Dad again. And you'll never see Faye or I again either. So go ahead, and get started on your life of being forever alone, will you?
Ben!
You may not have noticed, but I'm very upset with you. When I heard that you wanted to ruin my wedding with Faye by destroying her dress, I just lost it. Have a good one, Monica. I hope someday you'll be able to forget about me, and find a man of your own that'll want to be around you.
Monica ended up being kicked out of her parents' house, and she's now living in a small apartment by herself in town. But it seems that not having her brother around her anymore has really taken a toll on her. So when she gets home from work, she just sits on the couch staring blankly at her TV that she never switches on. As for Dina, she's told me that she'd really love to have a wedding of her own held in her garden. So right now, we're both working hard on her garden to make it all beautiful for the day we throw her a wedding here. Even Ben is working with us to make sure things are set up for her big day. And he's even started to call catering companies and helping hands to get the show on the road. And while that's all going on and I have a day off from the garden, I'll watch Dina's YouTube channel of her working in her garden while sewing up a new pattern on her next wedding dress. Congratulations on getting married, Natalia. I hope that you and my little brother Ty have a wonderful life together.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being there for us, Violet.
I should be thanking you as well, though. I'm also very happy that I've now got myself a very cute little sister. So I hope that you two continue to be very close and happy with one another.
Oh, we will forever. So now that I'm family, do you mind if I ask you some things? I really want to know what university you ended up graduating from and what kind of work you do as your profession.
Huh? You want to know about my education and what I do for a living?
I think we should know more about each other in order to grow closer as sisters now. And I haven't heard anything about you in your life yet. And of course, you can ask more about me if you'd like. I'll tell you right now that I've graduated from Notre Dame.
Actually, I already knew about that from what my brothers told me. He told me that from a very young age, you've been very bright and you got a full-ride scholarship into Notre Dame.
Oh, come on. He shouldn't have to talk me up that much. But anyway, what university did you end up graduating from, Violet? I see that you're pretty good at speaking Chinese, so maybe you graduated from a university over there or something?
I'm sorry that you've gotten your hopes up. In reality, I never graduated from high school. I never even made it out of high school, so university never happened for me.
What? Like, high school dropout? Ty's older sister is a high school dropout? The girl that I'm calling my sister now is a high school dropout?
I'm sure that's a pretty big surprise for you, huh? Ever since I was little, I had always wanted to become a pro soccer player. And so after a year in high school here in the States, I left and went to a vocational school overseas to play soccer. But, of course, I never made it very far after a few years of playing soccer, and so now I'm just your average office worker.
Wait a minute, Violet. What are you talking about? I never heard about that story from anyone. You dropped out of high school and played soccer overseas? And you were trying to become a pro soccer player? Are you telling me you chose to leave school so that you could do something as meaningless as that?
Even if it did end up having little meaning, I was chasing after the dream I had back then. At the time, there weren't many schools or teams here in the US that I could go to play soccer on a high level. And so going overseas to an all-women's vocational school was my best bet.
But even then, dropping out of high school to go overseas is... I can't believe that you never graduated high school or college. And you didn't even get to make it to your dream and have to work as an office worker now? That's the perfect formula for you to be a complete loser in this society, right?
When you think of it like that, I can see why you'd think of me that way.
No, wait. I can't be with someone like that. I'm taking back what I said earlier about you. I don't want to become closer to you like a sister anymore, Violet.
Huh? Natalia?
I've always hated idiots and anything that has to do with them. Idiots have always been annoying in school and everything, so I can only be with people that are smart, and that's it. Yet, now you're telling me that you're an idiot as well? I cannot deal with this kind of crap anymore. It's like I've been stabbed in the back.
Stabbed in the back?
This is the worst thing that could ever happen to me. Do you get it now? Don't you ever come close to me ever again, okay? I do not want my education at Notre Dame to be ruined by some high school dropout thinking that she can make conversation with me.
Huh?
Now I have to go. After this, never try talking to me again. I think you've already heard everything now, right? About how my daughter and your brother have gotten married, right? Now your family and mine are one happy family. But I never thought this would be how you and I came to meet again. This world is quite small if you ask me.
You have that right. I'm in the same boat as you, thinking that I never expected to meet you again in this way. I seriously couldn't believe that Natalia's mother would be the woman that cared for me long ago.
And even now, I'd like you to think of me as someone that's here for you to care whenever you need it. What's funny is that ever since Natalia was a little girl, she had always wanted a bigger sister to be around. I know that you're all older now, but please treat her as your little sister and be close to one another.
Well, if I can make that happen, I'd love to. But just a little bit ago, I think I made her hate me.
Huh? What do you mean you made her hate you? Did something happen between you two?
Well, nothing really happened between us besides her learning about my past. I happened to tell her that I was a high school dropout back in the day. And for some reason, she did not take hearing that very well. She told me that she hates idiots a lot.
What? I am so sorry for what my little girl said to you. I never thought she'd say something so rude to you.
No worries, I'm used to things like that, so it's no skin off my back. Every once in a while, I get told that I'm an idiot for never finishing high school and things like that. And I have to take responsibility for the life I chose since there's no one else I should be blaming.
I know this might sound like me defending what she did, but Natalia does have a pretty big status for getting a full ride to Notre Dame. But that's the only thing she can take pride in since growing up. She was never good at anything besides studying. She couldn't really play any sports, and when it came to arts, she was hopeless. She learned that books were the only thing she could manage and made studying her whole life.
Well, even if that's all she's been good at, it's amazing how well she's done. She was able to study really hard and land that scholarship for a really well-renowned school.
Yes, and we respect her for putting in all that effort to make it there. And we had hoped that by her going off to a really nice school, she'd be able to change a bit. We really just wanted her to see that there's more to life than just studying, but I think her going to a school like that only made her worse about hating anything that isn't studying or higher education.
Really?
And this time she's even hating on people for their educations. She really has turned into a pretty embarrassing young woman for doing something as petty as that. My husband and I have tried so hard to tell her that one's education isn't everything, but she turns around every time saying that it is, and anyone beneath her in education is an idiot.
That really is a change for the worst, huh? And when you talk about one's educational past, mine is pretty bad. Not only did I not graduate high school, but I also failed at attaining my dream. I think being hated by Natalia is just going to be something that I have to live with from now on.
What are you saying, Violet? That is not true at all. You are not just some loser for not being able to become a pro soccer player. I think it's amazing that you went overseas on your own to try and make it big in the soccer world. And so I'll never think of you as someone less than amazing.
Huh? You're talking about me?
I am. You really have been such an inspiration to me. So to me, it's a real shame that you and my daughter aren't getting along too well right now. You can leave Natalia to me, okay? I'll try my best to make sure that she knows just how awesome of a person you really are.
What were you thinking, Natalia? Let me back into your guys' wedding hall. You sent me that invitation and I already RSVP'd to your wedding as well as brought along a gift for you. Why did you think it was okay to kick me out of there like that?
I don't like you, so it's fair for me to kick you out, right? This is my wedding, and I don't need some high school dropout coming in here to mess it up. So, to keep my wedding from going under due to you, get lost and go back home or something.
What? You act like I could ruin your wedding, but I haven't even done anything. I just want to be here to celebrate my brother and you having your wedding today.
But just having someone with no education here is making the atmosphere unbearable. Just by sitting in this building, you'll cause my whole wedding to fall apart.
Excuse me?
Also, the only people allowed in my wedding are those that at least graduated from high school. Actually, everyone here has graduated from university. All my friends here came from Notre Dame like me, and all my coworkers and bosses are from other well-known universities. And, of course, both Thea and I and all of his friends and coworkers are from high-level universities as well. So, the only one that was being an embarrassment was you, the idiot dropout.
I don't think being a dropout is anything to be embarrassed about, though. And I feel that a lot of the other people there feel the same way.
Really? Everyone knows that those that couldn't graduate from high school are disgusting and stupid. You may think you are someone for having chased after those big dreams you had, but dropping out of school is still dropping out. You have less of an education than even some monkeys have, and that's just embarrassing. And having you around here would only cause trouble for the rest of my guests today.
Natalia...
I'm tired of talking to you, so hurry up and go away. Even my parents are asking that you leave this place and stay away. So get out of here, you uneducated idiot. This is not the place for someone with an IQ under 90 to be spending their time.
Well, then we'll have to leave this wedding as well.
Huh?
Once again, you are out here trying to judge people only by their education and nothing else. And as your mother, I cannot go another minute watching you act like a complete child. So if you want to say those things about Violet, then I have no choice but to go home with her.
Huh? Why are you talking to me now, Mom? This is just a conversation for me and Violet.
I was wondering why I hadn't seen Violet anywhere and thought that I needed to go looking for her. And so while making a lap around the outside of the hall, I found her all alone sitting on some steps. I asked her what was wrong and she told me everything as well as showed me you guys' conversation.
But why are you saying that the both of you are going to go home together? That girl is the only one at this whole wedding that's uneducated and stupid. So I'm telling her to go home before she becomes even more of an embarrassment and ruins my whole wedding. I'm not being a jerk or anything by kicking her out. I'm the bride, and it's totally fine of me to ask her to leave before she destroys my wedding.
I understand that Violet never graduated high school. When compared to someone who went to Notre Dame with a full-ride scholarship, her education is near nothing. But she is anything but an idiot, Natalia. If you think she is based off her education, then that makes two of us then. Actually, you'd be calling a lot of people that are here at your wedding idiots.
Huh?
If you really hate all of us idiots that much, then we'll all just go home. If you're going to kick Violet out for that reason, then I want you to kick everyone else that's an idiot to you out. Then you and your husband can have that wedding all by yourselves.
Stop talking about such nonsense, Mom. You think everyone else is an idiot like her? There's no way that could be possible. Why are you on her side right now anyway, Mom? I'm telling you right now, there's nothing to gain for being her friend right now, Mom.
Nothing to gain?
Mom, you are the number one person that I look up to, okay? You graduated from the same university as me, and when you were young, you had a wonderful career of going all over the world to work. So when you ask me who the woman is that I look up to, I say that's my mom. So don't tell me that you're an idiot like Violet is.
And the reason I've become such a huge inspiration to you is because of what Violet has done for me. It's because of her being around me all those years that I strive to do great work.
Huh?
When you say that I worked all over the world, that makes me feel good and sound cool. But when you ask me, I'd say all that work was tough and horrible for me. I didn't think that I'd have to do that much work all the time, and the stress kept me from eating a lot of the time. But because there was someone in the neighborhood that was just a little girl working so hard to achieve her dream, it made me try my best as well. It's because of what Violet had strived for that I've made it to where I am today.
Mom?
I'm telling you right now that Violet is not the type of woman I'll let you make fun of. She was the girl that helped keep me in line while working overseas and everything. So telling me that she has nothing to offer is the biggest joke that I've ever heard out of your mouth.
Now just wait, Mom. Settle down a little, please. Huh? Are you saying that you both knew each other while overseas?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Right after she had entered her first year of high school, she was accepted onto a youth team in China at one of the schools there. And during that time that she was over there, I moved into the house next door to her dorm and we both started to talk. I hadn't really studied a whole lot of Chinese, so it was hard for me to work. I was at the point of wanting to quit my job there and come back to the States. But while I was thinking that, I ran into her while she was covered in sweat after practice, and we talked about our lives there.
Huh? Is that so?
Oh, she was so amazing and cheerful. She told me that in her case, she had a hard time speaking to the other teammates as well, but still did her best to get the job done. And no matter how hard it was for her to feel at home, she kept looking towards her goal of one day moving on from that school and becoming pro. Seeing a girl like that, way younger than me at the time, that moment is something I'll never be able to forget.
And that's what all helped you get stronger.
Yes, because after our first time meeting, we'd slowly started to grow closer to one another. After I finished work, I'd go see her games and cheer for her, and we'd both go out for dinner a lot. She was the one thing that helped me feel stronger in a land where I could barely speak the language well enough. Really, she saved me from giving up.
You guys were that close over there? You never told me any stories about how you met a girl like that.
I didn't think I'd have to tell you. And at the time, you were back here with your dad in elementary school. I didn't want to start telling you about some 16-year-old girl I met while I was on the phone with you.
I get that, but...
Also, when she ended up coming back to the U.S., I didn't really want to talk about her dream never coming true. Really, I didn't want to think about how much that must have hurt for her. To me, I always loved thinking that she did achieve one dream, and that's being able to play for a soccer team overseas.
Wait, what?
I mean, how many people do you know that are 16 years old and break free from their normal life to go play for a team in a country that they can't speak the language in? And before she went back to the U.S., she became one of the best players on that team. To me, she did an amazing job going after the dreams she had. Really, had she not torn her ACL that final year, I'm sure she would have made it big. It was because of that injury that she had to go back to the U.S. and be finished.
What?
I never thought once that Violet was ever any kind of idiot. I have to ask you this, Natalia. Is there anyone else at your wedding that could go out of their comfort zone and do what she'd done? She wasn't able to speak much Chinese then, and she was only in her teens and on her own. It's mind-boggling that she was able to do all of that at such a young age. And for a few years, she did an amazing job on that team and became a great player. So tell me right now, how many people at your wedding have done the same thing as her?
That's...
So if you're saying there's nobody else that's done the same as her, then they're all worse than her. Well, that must mean that we are all, you and I included, weak-willed compared to the strength she has. But if you still think you're somehow better than her in every way, you show me right now what you can do that makes you better. If you can't show me in 10 minutes, then you will never call Violet an idiot again.
Mom? I think that I may have been a little mistaken about a few things.
Mistaken, huh? All I've seen from you is you acting out like you 100% thought you were right. Actually, you've been doing it all this time, making fun of people for their educational backgrounds. I don't even want to think of you as my daughter. That's how far you've fallen from me. I can see there's no reason for me to be at this wedding today, so I'm going home right now.
You're lying, right? Mom? Do you not want to see your daughter in her fabulous wedding dress?
I'd rather see a pig wearing a wedding dress instead of you. Goodbye now. If you plan to be upset with me for this, then you can save it for when I'm done with you. I'm so sorry for what happened today. My daughter was so rude that it's made me sweat with rage.
No worries. Actually, I'm really glad that you stood there with me that upset at her. So please don't feel that you have to apologize to me.
I really am proud of what you accomplished when you were younger, and it made a huge difference in my life. So because of how you were treated today by her, I'll never forgive anything she's done. I'm still really worked up even now. I really want to go back to watching your games right about now.
Then next time, do you want to come see a game? To tell you the truth, I've become a coach for a kids team now and do it as a volunteer. And from time to time, I join them to play a little myself. I may be an adult now, but I've still got what it takes to play hard, so next time you should come and watch me.
What? That would be awesome! I'd love to spend an afternoon watching one of the practices or games.
And when you come, do the same as you've done in the past and cheer me and the team on. Actually, I really love hearing you on the sideline going nuts over me.
I'll do my best for you. Even though I may be a simple lady, I have a very large voice that can carry for miles. So I'll make sure to cheer you on again with that same voice.
This is the worst right now. Because of you, that whole wedding was ruined. Because of you taking my mom home with you, everything started to go downhill. Why would you do something like that to me?
I only went home because you had asked me to. It wasn't me that forced your mom to come with me. So I think you're mistaken yet again for trying to blame me here.
Shut up! If you had known my mom from before, you should have told me about that sooner! Why did you keep all that a secret from me?
I didn't know if it'd been okay to tell you about us. Her and I never talked to one another again after China, and so I never really thought about her again until we met just recently. All of that stuff happened like 15 years ago now. But I have to say that I'm really glad that she stood up for me.
Let me just tell you this, but don't think that you're any better now that my mom's on your side. You're still just a stupid high school dropout. Although somehow you got my mom to respect you. But to me, you're still just an uneducated buffoon.
Well, you can say what you want about me.
You don't even work in a high-level company like me, do you? You are literally a waste to this society.
Huh? So working for a high-level company makes you respectable then? Well then that must mean I can be respected by you still.
Huh?
Actually, with all the experience I had with sports and sports management, I'm working for a popular company that excels in sports-related content. And on top of that, I'm a manager for the company. And due to that, I'm like how your mom was back in the day and am going from country to country getting my work done.
Yo, you're a manager there? You are? There's no way a dropout could become a manager. I graduated from an excellent school and I'm still only a base level employee.
Oh, you're still only base level there? I understand that I am a bit older than you, but only by a little. I had assumed you'd at least be in some managerial position by now, but I guess I was wrong about that. I think you're moving up in that company slower than most people.
What? Just because you may have gotten promoted already doesn't mean you can talk to me like that. I still have my education that is far superior to yours, so you have nothing on me.
Oh, is that so? You're still better even though I got hired in as a manager without even graduating high school? How could that be?
You're asking me how? You already know why. Because I still have a better education and will soon be a manager here as well. But you also know that work is a different thing, right? You can only get so far with educational experience, but in the workforce, they also care about how well you can do your job.
Wow, so you actually do understand how the world works after all. Just as you've said, your education is nothing more than just an education. Even if you happen to have had good scores and all that, it doesn't really matter when it comes to moving up in the workplace. You really do get that.
Huh?
You just said it yourself, right? The workplace and education are two different things. Even if you try as hard as you can to make yourself seem important because of the education you have, work experience and your character are what get you places. You understand all that, right?
No, wait,
Well, if that's the case, then you can stop calling me an idiot for not graduating from high school when we're both employed now. I am in a better position than you are now, and at a very popular company, so you trying to ride the idea that you're still better than me due to your education is just pathetic. Now, I really do have to be going. I have a match that I have to coach today, so I'm pretty busy. After our discussion, Natalia and my brother had a talk, and he told her he really does love her, but her attitude of looking down on others due to their education was not going to fly. And that if she ever did it again, they'd be done. And when she went to her parents to ask for help about that, they both told her that they didn't want to see her face. And so Natalia was then kicked out of her parents' house. Because of that, Natalia began to go on a tirade about why everyone loved and supported me because of playing soccer and doing all of that. And because of that, she thought she could make herself better than me by joining her company's rec soccer team, but in her first match with her company, she fell down hard and broke her leg. And now that she has to stay home for 2 months to recover from her injury, her chances of moving up in the company only grow farther out of reach. As for Angelica and I, we've started going out together for coffee and food. And from time to time, she'll come out to some soccer games to cheer my kids on. Every time she comes, she just gets into a real fighting mood and will cheer non-stop for us, making all the kids really happy when they see her.
Celine, are you there? I have some huge news that I just have to tell you right now. Xavier and I got married! Can you believe it?
Wait, what? Cassidy, what are you talking about? What do you mean that you and Xavier are married now?
I knew that it would shock you. But now this means that I can finally have my dream life of being a housewife. I won't ever have to have a job or work, and I'll just get to hang out at home all day. It'll be so amazing.
But you can't really be serious about this, right? Cass, please tell me that this is some kind of prank that you're pulling on me?
What do you mean? You do remember just who I'm talking about, don't you? I'm talking about the same Xavier that you were married to, but then I stole him away from you and you've been all alone ever since, remember?
But I mean, I haven't heard from you at all since you did that to me. It's been 3 whole years since we last talked. And I had no idea that you and Xavier were still together at all, but I guess you two are married now? I really just didn't see this coming today at all, if I'm being honest.
Well, I just wanted to say that I really am sorry for what I did back then. But I remember when I did, you kept trying to bug us with all your fake threats about suing us for seeing each other while you and him were still married. Do you remember how mad you were? I mean, you were blowing up my phone so much that I finally went and got myself a new number. But now that 3 years have passed, so have the statute of limitations for you being able to sue us. So I figured it was safe to finally reach out to you again.
So basically, you were just hiding from me so that you wouldn't have to be punished for what you did? That's why you didn't talk to me for 3 whole years? All because it was still part of your plan to get away with stealing my husband from me?
Oh, come on. Don't be like that. When you put it like that, it makes me sound really bad. I mean, I think it's kind of clever on my part, to be honest. I planned it out, looked up the laws, and I was able to steal your husband right from under your nose and get away with it, too. I don't have to pay you a dime either. I basically pulled off the perfect heist.
And in the meantime, you ruined countless relationships, not just my marriage, but even our own relationship, Cass. But if you're reaching out to me to tell me this, I wonder if you've also told Jeremy, who you were dating, before you got with Xavier?
Jeremy? Oh, whoa, I totally forgot about him! Man, you have a really, really good memory, sis. Do you know that? I mean, he had completely fallen off the map for me, if I'm being perfectly honest.
You're kidding me. You and him were together for so long before you did what you did to us both.
Yeah, sure, but that's all in the past now, and I don't really have to dwell on all the men I've ever seen in my life. Especially a loser like him. Just why do you think I traded up to get your husband from you instead? I I didn't even save his number when I got my new phone, so I certainly haven't told him about Javi and I's marriage.
How could you say that about such a nice man? I thought he was really lovely. If anyone is the loser, it's you for ditching such a nice man to steal your own sister's husband. I still don't get how you could do that to me and Jeremy. You really are just horrible. Do you know that? Why did you even bother reaching out to me after all this time?
Now it all comes out. I knew that you were still sore about this. Oh man, it really is funny watching you get so upset over a text. You're just mad because you are outsmarted by your little sister and abandoned by your husband. Admit it!
What is even the point of this conversation? What do you want? Did you just want to reach out to me to make me upset and insult me?
Of course not. I just wanted to let you know that Javi and I are still together. The real thing that I wanted to bring to you about is that he's working for a huge company right now and I don't have to do a thing. Just think about it. If you were still married to Javi, then you could be living my life. But you aren't. I remember when I was with Jeremy, he had just transferred out of his old job to some new one at a really lame place. They weren't even going to pay him that much, but he wanted it for the vacation time that he would get. I knew then that I could never be with a man who didn't have the same ambitions as me.
But you know that Jeremy's old job was really hard on him. You were always complaining about how late he worked. There were even times when he collapsed on the job because of how exhausted he was. Of course he would want something with more time off. And just what ambitions are you talking about? You literally just want to marry rich so you don't have to do any work.
You have no idea what it was like being with Jeremy. Besides, if I'm not going to be with a man who doesn't make a lot of money, then there's just no point in being with him at all. And just what is wrong with my ambitions? Everyone knows that a woman's place is in the house anyways. I just so happened to want to make sure that my house was a really nice one and that I would never have to worry about money again.
You really are just delusional. Do you know that?
Don't be mad at me just because I saw what I wanted and took it. I know the real reason you're upset is because you knew that Javi had this potential in him and I stole him from you. Ever since then, you've had to go out and look for another rich man. I was lucky since you went out and did all the hard work of finding him for me. And now I have a husband with a bright, bright future ahead of him and I won't ever have to worry about a thing in my life again.
Is that really all you think a marriage is about? How much money your husband makes? Is that the only reason that you and Xavier have been together this long?
I am not even going to begin to try and describe to you the level of strategy and planning that I'm operating on. My mind is like an enigma that you couldn't even begin to unravel. But it certainly does help that I'm the cute younger sister. You might have been okay as a housewife, but I certainly look better doing it.
When I was with Xavier, anytime I asked him to help around the house or said anything that he saw as a complaint, he would always yell at me. He would get upset and told me that I was lucky to have him and that I should just shut up and go along with what he wanted.
Well, he never ever treats me like that. Probably because he sees me as his beautiful bride and not like the maid that you were to him. He even gives me plenty of spending money whenever I ask for it.
Oh, well, good for you then, Cass.
Oh, come on, don't be upset just because my life is so much better than yours. I know that your life really sucks right now, but I'm sure that it'll get better one day when you find the right person. But until then, just know that I'm loving my life with your ex-husband.
You really think that my life sucks right now? What is that supposed to mean?
Oh, please. You don't have to pretend like it isn't true for my sake. You had it all. You were living the housewife's dream, and then I took it from you. Then you had no home, no job, no nothing. I completely ruined your whole life. And it's only been 3 years. I'm sure that your life is still in complete shambles ever since I did what I did to you.
Well, you really shouldn't be making those kinds of assumptions because I'm actually in the best place that I've ever been. So I'm glad that you took Xavier from me because now I'm able to live how I want and I'm really enjoying life. Anyways, if you could not waste my time with stupid texts like this, I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, Celine, what is the matter with you? Why aren't you responding to me at all? I sent you a bunch of pictures from my wedding and you haven't said a single word to me.
Well, yeah, I asked you to stop talking to me, remember? So why would I respond to you if I had already told you that I didn't want to talk to you?
But you don't get it. I don't have anyone else that I can brag about this to. Everyone still remembers that I stole Javi from you, so nobody wanted to help us celebrate our wedding. Even when I tried showing photos to my friends, the messages were just left on not delivered, so I think a bunch of people have blocked me. Even our parents haven't said anything to me. You're the only person that I can talk to about this at all.
Right. Well, if everyone else has blocked you, maybe I should just go ahead and do the same thing then.
Wait, no, you can't do that. I mean, if I don't have you to talk to, then who am I supposed to brag about my amazing life to? Please, you can't do this. Even though it was small, it really was an amazing wedding. You have to be there so that I can send you messages about how great my life is. Don't you want to hear about just how amazing my wedding was?
What are you even talking about, Cassidy?
I'm talking about how now that Javi and I are married, we're going to move in together and he's already gotten this really huge, amazing condo, and I want to brag to people about it and they're blocking me.
And just why on earth do you think that I would want to subject myself to any of that coming from you? I mean, I'm actually kind of surprised about your wedding. I really didn't know that many people had blocked you over this.
Well, they all just make assumptions about my marriage, all because it's your ex-husband. That's why I told Javi that he had to make sure that our wedding was even better than the one that you two had. I thought that if it was this huge, even that a bunch of people would show up, but nobody did. But a bunch of Javi's family and friends showed up, so that was nice of them at least.
Wow, that would honestly really depress the hell out of me if I didn't have my loved ones at my wedding.
Well, I wasn't sad in the slightest. I mean, it just meant that there was more room and food for everyone else to enjoy themselves. Who cares if none of my family or friends were there?
Do you really feel that way? You don't have to pretend for me. I really don't care either way.
Of course I feel that way. It was a great wedding, and now I finally get to live my dream life of being a housewife. I don't have to work, and I can do fun stuff around the house all day, like sitting and pacing. Sometimes I even get to go out and do some shopping so that I can cook dinner. It really is the dream. Yeah, this is what I always wanted. It's a much more fulfilling life than you have, I bet.
Yeah, it sounds like you're only doing things that I've only dreamed of.
That's right. I'm sure that you're basically on the edge of being homeless every day. You wish that you had the luxuries that I do. But I suppose most people would probably kill to be in my shoes right now. I mean, you really must be living in some kind of pathetic little shack or something. Maybe you have a bunch of roommates and you all have to take turns using that one toilet. But I guess that's just how poor people with no money have to live their lives. Thank goodness that isn't me. I could never.
Can you please stop making so many baseless assumptions about my life? You seriously have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm sorry. You probably don't even have a real place. You probably just work at some factory and go sleep in the factory housing or something. Maybe you have to put in quarters in the showers because you don't even have your own bathroom at all. Oh man, that's so funny to think about. Imagine how horrible that must be. Oh man, that's so funny I think I could cry.
What in the world makes you think any of what you're saying about me is true?
Well, it has to be. I mean, you're still not married, so there's no way your life is anything but that. You're just a sad, pathetic loser, and that's all you will ever be until you get married again. And until that day comes, you'll just be living in your sad little shack with all your sad little roommates from your sad little factory job. You're like some kind of adult Oliver Twist, but you're still in your 30s, and you're still not married. Oh man, I am seriously laughing so much that my stomach is hurting.
Seriously? What is the matter with you? Are you really laughing so hard at your own messed up delusions?
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure that one day someone is going to want to marry a divorced old hag like you. As if, right? One of these days you'll have to tell me all about your sad, pathetic little life.
Well, for starters, my sad, pathetic house costs $1 million, so...
Wait, what? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the condo where I live downtown. I'm sure that it might not compare to the kinds of McMansions that you see out in the suburbs, but I'm very, very happy with it. The location and size and everything is just about perfect for me. Not to mention it's right by the coast, so I get to wake up to sea breeze and an ocean view every morning.
But wait, your house costs $1 million. That doesn't make any sense at all. How can someone like you afford to live there? There's no way that some sad little assembly line job can get you a place like that. How can you afford to live right on the coast? That isn't fair.
I already told you that you had no idea what you were talking about in the slightest. But 3 years ago, when Xavier left me for you, I decided to go and start my own business. It took a lot of work and effort, but now I'm valued at millions of dollars.
Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense at all. How can that be? I had no idea that you went and started your own business. This can't be right. You're lying to me. I just know it.
Do you really think that I would lie to you about something like this?
Of course you are. There's no way that any of that is true at all. I refuse to believe that you've done so well for yourself. I mean, I stole your husband and he was supposed to be your ticket to the good life. There's no way that you made it so far all by yourself. You're not supposed to do that.
Why not? Because I was a housewife when I was married to Xavier? Well, while I was in the house all day, I was working hard to perfect my craft as a graphic designer. I posted my work on a bunch of places and managed to save up a fair bit for myself by the time that you and Xavier ran off together.
And now you've gone and made all that money just being a graphic designer?
Well, you remember how I was always into artsy things when I was little, right? Well, I had so much time around the house that I wanted to get back into art, and I really worked at my skill. Xavier would always get mad at me for doing it since he thought I could never make any real money from it, but I guess it shows what he knows.
So then what? You're some kind of professional, full-time artiste or something? And you make hundreds of thousands of dollars?
No, nothing like that. I did try and self-publish a couple of things at first, but it never really went anywhere. Although my work was good enough to catch the eyes of some people who invested into my company when I started it. And now it's a huge success.
So then you're really the head of your own illustration company?
I am, although I can't really say that I have all that many employees or anything. But we all work together on really big projects that bring in a lot for us. In fact, your ex-boyfriend Jeremy even works for me. I don't think we would have gotten as far as we did in our job without him, to be honest.
Wait a second, what? Are you kidding me? Does Jeremy really work for you?
That's right. I felt so bad for the way you treated him, but remember that he was also a really good artist. So when I started my company, I reached out to him and asked if he'd like to come and work for me. He said he'd love to since he was having such a hard time finding work after you left him. And ever since I hired him, he's been basically my best employee ever since.
But I had no idea that someone like Jeremy was any good at anything.
Well, he really is. I think he's actually making something like $100,000 a year or so now.
He's really making that much money. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, he's always punctual and quick to turn in his work. All of our clients are fighting over him. He's a solid pillar of my company as by himself, so I make sure that he's well paid. And thanks to him, we've been attracting even more larger clients who are all hoping to have the Jeremy touch to their project. I think we even recently took a contract from the company that Xavier works for.
Oh, wait a second. Are you serious? You're really working with Javi's company right now? But they're huge. They could work with anyone they wanted to.
That's right. But I guess the CEO really liked our work, and so he signed us on for a huge ad campaign.
I don't believe it. I really just don't know what to say at all. You started your own company and now you're doing so well. Not only that, but you hired my ex-boyfriend who was making $100,000 a year. That's even more than he was making at his old job.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Darn, now that I think about it, I really should have gone to your wedding after all. You said that a bunch of Xavier's coworkers were there, right? Was the CEO?
Yes, he was actually. Javi is a really good employee and he wanted to make a good impression, so he invited the CEO of his company.
Well, shoot, I should have gone to formally meet him. We've been chatting over email for some time now. But I guess then I would have been the only person on your side of the wedding who would have shown up, right? That would probably be pretty awkward.
Sis, I can't be with Javi anymore. You can have him back.
What are you talking about? Why would I ever take Xavier back? Why would you even think that I want him back?
Fine, whatever. Don't take him back. I don't care. I just need to get with Jeremy. He makes way more money than Javi does.
Well, I really don't think that Jeremy wants anything to do with you at all.
What are you talking about? You don't think he'll take me back? He's still totally obsessed with me, isn't he?
I really don't think so. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's already engaged to be married, in fact.
Hold on, what? You have to be kidding me. I already told Javi that I wanted a divorce. We already signed the paperwork for it.
Wait, what? You've already split up with Xavier? Are you crazy or something?
It's true. I really thought that Jeremy would still be all lonely and depressed without me. When you told me that he was such a successful artist, I thought it was because he was so depressed. I mean, that's why artists are good, right? I figured he must have still been upset over losing me, and that's why his art was so good, so I was sure he would take me back.
Oh, well, that's stupid of you. I'm pretty sure he's doing so well because I gave him a second chance at life and he's engaged. His art is coming from a good place, if you ask me.
But what am I supposed to do? I already packed up my bags and I'm living in a hotel now. I was going to reach out to Jeremy and tell him that I'm ready for him to take me back whenever. I don't have enough money to stay here forever.
Dang, well, those all sound like you problems. In fact, I never want you to come to me with any of your problems or bragging again. I'm going to do what I should have done a long time ago and block you.
No, wait, you can't do this to me. Please don't leave me. You're all I have left.
I heard through the grapevine that after Cassidy left him, Xavier's performance plummeted and soon he was sent to work in the boiler room of his company, far away from any chance at promotion. As for Cassidy, she had to quickly sell a bunch of her stuff and move into a new place. I hear that she's sharing a one-bedroom apartment with 5 other people, and they all have to share a single toilet. As for Jeremy, he continues to be my star artist and even invited me to his wedding, which I wait to attend. As for myself, business is going along as usual. I do always feel bad that Cassidy and I could never patch things up, but I just couldn't stand her interfering in my life anymore.
Thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you felt good after watching this video, please like the video. If not, please leave a comment and give us your feedback. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your comments and likes help this channel grow. We hope you enjoy our other stories as well.